So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In today's episode we will be talking about Indian Express newspaper. As you know that the general election 2024 has been concluded and the results are out. So NDA has secured majority, you can say. So they will be forming a government most probably. So uh, let's see the front page over here. You can say India gives NDA third term and Modi a message. We will talk about that, what message India has given to the Mr. Modi, and then we will be coming to this article, that is PM says first time since 1962 a government elected 3 times in a row. Okay, so we will talk about that. Then we will be discussing practice question, and these three will be the area of focus today, that is a new Lok Sabha decoding the verdict. We will talk about the results. We will see what kind of importance does it hold and what kind of impact it will have on the system, parliamentary system we have in India. So we'll talk about that. Then Chang'e 6. We have talked about this particular spacecraft earlier as well, but recently new development has happened. We will talk about that, on its way back to Earth. Then US proposal and Gaza's fate. Okay, so you will be seeing that most of these news are repetitive in nature because they were in the news. So little bit developments which has happened, we will be talking about that. Otherwise the focus of today's discussion will be on the verdict. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. We'll start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Which district in Tamil Nadu is the second spaceport being developed by ISRO is located? Okay, so basically they are talking about the second spaceport which we are planning: Chennai, Coimbatore, Tuticorin or Madurai. Okay, so basically option C is your right answer here, Tuticorin, or you can say here, you know that first our already existing spaceport is at Sriharikota. Okay, and recently you know that there was this Agni Band which has been launched from this particular area, so that is important for us. Other than that, also there are various spacecraft which has been launched from this, because this is the launch, satellite launch center which we have as of now. Okay, then here you can say Kulashekhar Pattinam is the place in Tuticorin from where we will be, we are developing a, you can say, second spaceport wherein we can start these launching services here as well. Okay, so this is the area in Tamil Nadu, Tuticorin district. Okay, and when we are talking about Sriharikota, it is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so that is clear. So option C is your right answer, Tuticorin. Okay, so please remember these two names, that is Sriharikota and the here Kulshekhar Pattinam. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we will start with the discussion of the day. So this is from the front page. Here you can see BJP tally downs by 63. Nitish and Naidu emerge key players. Okay, India gives NDA third term, Modi message, and we will see NDA government will work with all states. PM says first time since 1962 a government elected 3 times in a row. Okay, and as insurance, TPD and JDU push case for speaker's post. Okay, so now why these different statements are there? Because you know that with the you can say verdict of the elections or verdict of the general election 2024 which are given over here, we have seen that there is no one party which has gotten clear majority. So there will be an alliance, or you can say there will be a coalition government. So when we are talking about the last 35 years, most of the time we have witnessed coalition governments. The last decade was the time when we have witnessed a government with a full majority. Okay, but now again we will be going to the coalition again. So NDA coalition most probably will be forming a government over here. Okay, so they are saying that TDP and JDU, or here you can see that Naidu and Nitish has emerged as key players, because they will be the person, or they will be considered as the kingmaker, if you say. Okay, so they have gone for push for the case of the speaker, because every party will go for their own interest, or that is why they are as an insurance they are asking for a post of speaker. Okay, now coming to the verdict, let's start with here. The people have spoken, and NDA with leads in 294 Lok Sabha seat is set to return for a third term, but mandate is not exactly what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has actually hoped for, because the slogan was "Ab ki baar 400 par," but the thing is they could not secure a clear majority this time. So they have to form a government with the alliance, or you can say National Democratic Alliance, what they have, that is NDA. So that is 294 seats they have secured, and they will be forming the government for the third time. Now BJP Tuesday was short of majority on its own with 272 as the halfway in the house, that is 543. it leads over nearly 240. Okay, when we are talking about the BJP's mark, that is nearly 240, and when we talk about the clear majority in the house, we need 272 seats. Okay, out of that there are 543. Okay, but BJP could not secure it, so they will be going for the NDA as a coalition. Okay, now as I told you, here you can see these are the verdicts in 2019 when we talk about. Okay, so here you can see most of the area was secured by the BJP, but recently if you see, there are most of the India alliance is also present in the patches over here. MP was an area which is totally you can see they have secured, BJP have secured majority in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, and otherwise you can see there was some regional parties which has also done really good at this time. When we are talking about UP, Akhilesh Yadav has been in lead over there. Okay, other than that Bihar, Nitish Kumar, and then Chandrababu Naidu is there. So all these are the key factors when we are talking about the government or the election this time. There are certain factors which can be important for your exam, that is we'll be talking about that. First thing is the seat sharing. Here you can see that nearly 240 is with BJP, then INC has secured nearly 100 or 99 seats over here. Okay, and then there are various other parties over here. Okay, when we are talking about 2019 share, okay, the last election, more than 300 seats were with BJP, and INC or the Indian National Congress could secure only 52. So Indian National Congress has done reasonably well this time, and when we are talking about BJP has got a little bit of a setback. Okay, now here you can see these are the voting share, etc. That is of no use for us for our exams point of view. What is important for us is that this data over here can be important for you. Here this is the turnout data. When we are talking about the turnout, 2019's turnout was way better than 2024. Here you can see this is the 2019's turnout. This was most of the time having an upper hand. Okay, and then here you can see 2019's turnout was better. Okay, so if you have been asked in the exam with a statement that the election turnout in 2024 was better than 2019, that is a wrong statement. Okay, that should have been the case. Okay, kind of after the COVID, etc. When we see, there should be an awareness generation regarding the voting turnout. There should always be an increase in the voting turnout, but this was not the case. So that is one thing. When we are talking about the turnout, 2019's turnout was better than that. And when we are talking about the Muslim representation over here, so in this 2024's Lok Sabha, there are 24 seats which is with Muslims, that is nearly 4.4% of turnout, or you can say representation. Okay, now coming to the other part here, that is women's percentage in, or women's representation in Lok Sabha here. So that is nearly 14.55%, or you can say there was an addition of one seat. Earlier there was 78 women in the Lok Sabha, now there will be 79. Okay, so that is the share of women. That is concerning because half of the population is women, and we are having a share that is just 14% or the 14 to 15%. Okay, now in this regard, one thing is important, that the government has given a reservation. From the next term we will be seeing that there will be a reservation when we are talking about representation of women. So there is 33% reservation for women. Okay, so that is about it. That is the data which can be important for you. One is turnout, second is basically you should know, you should have the idea what kind of government structure we have, what kind of political parties are in power. Other than that, those students who are from the you can say political science background, for them this data can be important, but the thing is for your general studies purpose or your prelims, that is not important as of now. Okay, so when we are talking about the syllabus, there is this term which is used there, that political parties, okay, and then political interests, etc. are there. When we are talking about the PSIR, political parties, or you can say politics in India, that becomes important for us. So the pattern over here can be important, that since last 35 years we have gone for the coalition government. Okay, last one decade, or you can say the last 10 years, we have gone for a majority government. Okay, and now we are back into the coalition form. Okay, so that is about it. Now moving further, next article is also related to it, but we will be decoding the essence of these elections and what the, you can say, learnings are there, or what can be the change which can be important or the significant for our government as of now. Okay, so decoding the verdict in 2024 election has brought, the 2024 elections has brought BJP to power for a third straight term, but has diminished the party. the impact will be felt in the relationship in the NDA as well as within the BJP and between BJP and RSS. Okay, so now this is something which is political in nature, which is not of our any use to us. But the thing is, there are certain impacts which can be important. Okay, so first we will see what is the impact here. After a decade, back to the coalition at center. As I told you, for last 34 years, we have witnessed a coalition government. When we talk about the, you can say 1989. 1989 was the time. Since then we have seen an era of coalition governments. We have seen an era of instability for like nearly 10 years. When we talk about the time of 1990s, we have witnessed that there in 1990s, or you can say in that particular decade, we have witnessed nearly 6 or 7 prime minister at that point of time. Okay, so you can understand that no prime minister at that point of time has actually fulfilled, or you can say finished the term of 5 years. Okay, so that kind of impact we had of the coalition government in 1990s. Okay, but then there was this stability which has came afterwards. Then there was a government of UPA for like 10 years, and then came NDA. Okay, but again, that was when we are talking about the UPA government, that was also a coalition government. Then came NDA. 2014 and 2019 terms was no doubt it was an NDA government, but BJP has a clear majority at that point of time. Okay, now comes the time wherein BJP is not having that kind of majority, so again they will be going for the NDA. Okay, so we can say that now it will be a coalition government and they will be needing support. Now coming here, for the better part of the last 34 years, India has been governed by the coalition of political parties. It is in the last 10 years a single political party, that is Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, has led a majority government at the center. Be that as it may be, the biggest structural reform and the right-based programs happened during the last 30 plus years, the seed of most of which was shown during the coalition era. Now, whatever reforms we have witnessed in last 30 years, the seed of that has been sown in the coalition era, because obviously when we are talking about the time of 1990s, that is the time when we have started the economic reforms. Okay, that was the need of the hour. We started the economic reforms, and whatever came afterwards, that was just an impact of it. Okay, or we have actually gone for the furtherment of those reforms as well. Okay, other than that also, whatever policies were there, somehow they were related to the interest of various communities which were represented by the coalition at that point of time. So we can say that the seed of any kind of reforms or policy measures which has been taken in the further years was shown in the time of coalition government, and that was nearly, you can say, till 2014. Okay, now the new and the old allies will seek cabinet berth. Now that we are again going to the you can say coalition form, now the old and the new allies, they will seek a, you can say, berth in the cabinet. Obviously they would want their interest to be secured, so they will want a position in the cabinet. Okay, they will want to have a position as in, like as I told you in the start of the session, that that JDU and the TDP, they will be actually going for post of speaker or as an insurance. Okay, so such things or such bargainings are normal, such negotiations are normal when we are talking about the coalition governments. Okay, so the new and the old allies will seek cabinet berth, impinge on the BJP-led government's flexibility in policy making. Last time when BJP was in power, when we are talking about the last 10 years, we know that BJP has a clear majority, and they have taken some decisions which were like you can say sudden decisions were there. There were decisions which were very difficult to take when we are talking about a party or you can say when we are talking about a government which is in coalition. Okay, if there is a single majority party, obviously they will hold a lot of power because they will have a majority. Their bill will get passed in the parliament easily. So that is why they have taken these decisions. Okay, like abrogating 370. Okay, or like when we are talking about the Citizenship Amendment Act, when we are talking about the various other bills, or you can say farmers laws, they were passed, and but then the people or the citizens has shown that they are not ready for the farmers bill, so they have to withdraw it as well. But the thing is, the government with such power, such majority, will have this power to go for taking decisions which might be radical sometime. Okay, but now there will be this obstruction when we are talking about the coalition government, because herein you have to make sure that everyone is on the same page with you. Okay, because you have to save your government as well. Okay, now BJP may be required to revisit its coalition dharma temperature check should be there, because obviously now there are various allies, so time to time you have to check that they are on the same page with you. Okay, get them on board before deciding on any hot issue: uniform civil code, delimitations of the constituency, judicial reforms, and one nation one election. Now going for such things which were there in the manifesto of BJP, now if they want to do it, they have to make sure that they take all the allies in confidence first. Okay, now to reset the framework, running a genuine coalition government and devise mechanism to accommodate and accommodate the sensitivities of the other parties with their own ethos and ideologies. So basically now you have to make sure that you welcome their ethos, their ideologies, you accommodate their ideologies, okay, and then move you can say along with them. Now rise of regional leaders and the increased pressure on the BJP. When we are talking about this election 2024, we have seen that again in the areas which were prominently occupied by the BJP at that point of time, now they are actually there are, you can say, increase in the regional parties as that. Okay, so when we are talking about Andhra Pradesh, there is Chandrababu Naidu. He is the deciding factor in this election. Okay, then when we are talking about UP, there is Akhilesh Yadav. He has actually done really well in this particular election. When we are talking about Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, Nitish Kumar in Bihar, Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray in Maharashtra. So these are the people, or you can say these are the regional parties which have revived. Okay, so you can say that when regional parties are reviving, then it means that the interest of that particular region will also take you can say front seat in the negotiations. Okay, so if the regional parties or the states, they are also increasing their say in the matter, that means that federalism will be enhanced. Okay, so here next is federalism will matter more, expect greater accountability. Okay, so that is one thing. Obviously the rise of the local parties, rise of the regional parties will increase the you can say stakes of the federalism. Okay, then moving further, here you can say accountability is likely to increase in all institutions, judiciary to auditor for financial regulators or election watchdogs, even in the investigation agencies. A coalition lends itself to better checks and balances. Okay, so basically all the institution of our country, they will witness a more accountability, because now there are various stakeholders which are there in the government. There are various representations from various parties, from various sections of the society. Okay, so accountability will increase, federal structure will get strengthened. Okay, so these are certain important points which will happen. Now complexion of the Lok Sabha, representation of the opposition. Now when we are talking about the Lok Sabha, what will be the dynamics which will change in the Lok Sabha? So here you can say the lower number of BJP will mean that there will be greater representation for Lok Sabha members from the opposition in various parliamentary panels such as standing committees, select committees, etc. Now you know that recently when we are talking about these elections, so BJP will have a share that would be nearly 1/5 of the total, you can say, membership. That is 1/5. Okay. Now when we are talking about the these standing committees or select committees, etc., they get their representation in the proportion of their seats. Okay, now since other parties are also having a say, so they will also see their representation in the standing committees. Okay, or when we are talking about any scrutiny of a bill, etc., if there is a committee which is made, so they will also see their representation. That means that there will be, you can say, a deliberation and the discussion in the parliament. Okay, so the opposition benches will have much larger voice, literally. Okay, in Lok Sabha, speaking time on the on particular issue, that is decided on the basis of the proportion of the seats they have. Okay, when we are talking about the time given for a particular person or the member of the parliament to speak in front of the speaker at that in front of the parliament, so that time will be decided by the speaker in proportion to the, you can say, proportion of the seats they have in the Lok Sabha. Okay, so obviously now other parties are also having seats. When we are talking about Congress, now they will have nearly 26 minutes out of an hour. Okay, so that is a good thing for them. There will be more discussions and the deliberations. Okay, it may also not be possible for the government to push through the bills without adequate debate, discussions, or to root legislation as money bill, which provide a fast track option for enactment of the laws by passing the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so basically now we will go back into the days of discussions, debates. So and you can say there will be more deliberation which will happen in the parliament. So that is the job of the parliament. That should be the case anyway. Then second thing is there is this tendency wherein we have actually surpassed Rajya Sabha by giving a particular bill a status of money bill by the speaker. Okay, so such tendency will be less now. Okay, so basically now we can say that after this election, which we see that the parliament will be more vocal now, Parliament will be having discussions and deliberations. The accountability will increase. The federalism will strengthen. So all these factors are there which are attached to the verdict which has been given by the people of India now. Okay. So now we can move further to the next article, which is related to China's lunar probe lift of the moon with rock samples from the far side. Actually, I told you when we were discussing the Chang'e probe, that is Chang'e 6. Okay. So now the objective of this particular probe was that it will go to the moon, they will take the samples and they will come back. Okay. So now from the moon, they will go to the far side of the moon. They will take sample and then they will come back. Okay. So actually that has happened. So here you can say China's Chang'e 6 probe has lifted off from the far side of the moon, starting its journey way back to Earth. The probe's successful departure from the moon brings China closer to becoming the first country to return sample from the far side of the moon, which permanently faces away from the Earth. Okay, Chang'e 6 withstood the test of high temperature on the surface of the far side. Now Chang'e 5, which retrieves sample from the near side of the moon. So there are two exactly points which you can remember. From the far side, there is this satellite, that is Chang'e 6, which has brought the samples. From the near side of the moon, there is this Chang'e 5, which has brought the samples from the near side. Okay, so that has happened earlier, and this is the first time China, or you can say any country in the world, they are taking samples from the far side of the moon. Okay, so that is about this article, and that particular probe has started its journey way back to the you can say Earth now. Now here you can see, this is the, you can say, far side and the near side. This is the near side. Here you can see there are various probes which are available over here. So here you can see this is Chandrayaan 3, which is India's probe, which we have sent recently, and it has gone for the soft landing on the south pole over here. Okay, so that is there. Then there is this Artemis 3, which is there. This is landing site for 2025, that is predicted to be. And then when we are talking about Apollo is somewhere over here. Luna 9 is there. There are various satellites which has gone for the, you can say, landing over here on the moon's near side. Okay, then when we are talking about the far side, this is the far side. Okay, so on far side earlier Chang'e 4 was there. Okay, now there is this Chang'e 6, which will be taking samples from this particular area. Now hold on. Okay, so when we are talking about this particular site, you can see that there are various dots which are available on that. These are basically big craters or giant holes, you can say, okay, under which the temperature is very low. Now coming to the near side and far side concept, you can see that this is Earth and this is the vantage point from where we are seeing. So if we see from this particular point of time, this side will be the, you can say, closer to Earth. Okay, and we are witnessing this side. So this is basically your near side. Okay, and there is a side which is not visible to us, which is beside this, you can say the other part of the hemisphere, that is basically here, you can say this is your far side. So Earth does not witness this particular side, that is the side which is in front of us. Okay, so that is about near side and the far side. Now we can go back to the next article, which is related to your international relations. We have talked about these things, but again these are coming back again and again in the, you can say, newspaper. So we will have a discussion over here. Now US urges UN Security Council to back Biden's plan for Gaza ceasefire. Okay, now US President Joe Biden has come up with a plan, okay, wherein they have said that Israel will go for the ceasefire and the Hamas has to release all the hostages, and then there will be a aid which will be given in this particular area. Okay, so that is the plan which has been given by the US President Joe Biden, and the Biden has urged the UN Security Council, UNSC, to support this particular plan. Okay, so here you can say the United States urged the UN Security Council on Monday to support the three-phase plan announced by the President Joe Biden, aimed at ending the nearly 8-month-old war in Gaza, freeing all hostages and sending massive aid to the devastated territory. Okay, so that is the you can say request which has been made by USA to UNSC. Now numerous leaders and the government including in the region has endorsed this plan. We call on Security Council to join them in the calling of the implementation of this deal without any delay and further any conditions. Okay, so basically they are saying that we don't want any conditions or delay, we just want to implement this particular plan. Okay, now Qatar is an important player in this particular, when we are talking about this negotiations throughout. When we see, Egypt and Qatar has been very important factors when we are talking about the negotiations between Israel, USA, and when we are talking about Hamas. Okay, so Qatar said that Tuesday that it delivered an Israeli proposal to Hamas that reflected the position stated by Biden, adding that the paper was now much closer to the position of the both the sides. Okay, this paper or this particular proposal is closer to the both sides conditions, so that is why both sides are agreeing as of now. Israel is also agreeing to this particular thing. When Biden made the announcement, he called it as an Israeli offer that includes enduring ceasefire and Israeli withdrawal from the Gaza if Hamas release all the hostages. So that is what US president has said, that this is an Israeli plan. Okay, so basically the thing is, now there are high chances that there might be this particular thing which happens, that there will be some kind of peace which will prevail in this particular area. But again, Israel in their narrative, they are clear that they will destroy Hamas. Okay, now I don't know how it will happen, but the thing is, let's say what future holds for this particular area. Then Iran Revolutionary Guard general killed in Israeli strike inside Syria. Again, after a while, you know that there was this particular issue which has happened recently, wherein they have killed various general in the Syrian embassy, and then recently there was this you can say Iran's president was also killed in a, you can say, crash which has happened. Okay, so all these things are going on over there, and because of this certain recent incident in which the Iranian president died, that was an accident which has happened because of the crashing of the their aircraft, sorry, not spacecraft, aircraft. So because of which they are busy with their own issues, because there is a vacuum when we are talking about the top leadership in the Iran. Okay, no doubt there is this supreme leader is there, but politically if we see, they are looking for another person to take over as a president. So they are not they have not responded to this particular thing yet, and there are high very less chance that they will go for any kind of you can say revenge in on this particular front. But recently Israeli attack has happened, Israeli airstrike has happened, and there was another general which has died in Syria. Okay, now the thing is, that is news reports from Iranian media. Okay, so that is the thing I would wanted to clear over here. So that is another thing. So this is about it. And now this next article, which is related to USA and the border issues. Okay, when we are talking about the immigration, USA has this issue of illegal immigrations in that particular area. People from we must have talked about this donkey route. Okay, we have talked about this donkey route, and there was this movie that is Donkey. You must have seen this particular movie that is based on this particular thing. But when we are talking about this donkey route, that is a route to USA or to the American dream. Okay, other than that also there are various people from the Mexican border. Okay, they are trying to enter into USA on daily basis. Okay, recently this number has increased more than 2500 per day. Okay, and that was there for more than 7 days regularly. So that is why US president has actually gone for issuing an order which says that there will be a temporary seal on the border to the migrants. They will not allow migrants anymore. Okay, they have said that until this number comes down to 1500 per day for at least 2 weeks, then till then they will not go for this particular opening of the borders. Okay, now this is the stand which was generally taken by the Republicans when we are talking about Mr. Donald Trump, etc. So earlier in their term or terms also, he has decided to go for a creation of a wall. Okay, but then that issue was struck down by the Supreme Court. Okay, now here you can say the order says that it will prevent migrants from seeking asylum at US-Mexico border. A dramatic election year move to ease the pressure on the immigration system and address a major concern among the voters. The order is most restrictive border policy instituted by the Biden or any other modern Democrat. The echoes an effort from 2018 by President Donald J. Trump to cut off the migration that was blocked by the federal court. Okay, as I told you that there was some effort which has been taken by Donald Trump in 2018. Okay, but recently when we are talking about this particular decision, that has came after there was this increase in the migration, and both the parties, or you can say it has got the bipartisan support in USA as of now. Okay, so allowing the border officer to return migrants across the border into the Mexico or their home countries within hours or days. The border would reopen to asylum seekers only when the number of crossing falls significantly below a daily average of 1500 or for the 7 days in a row, and border would reopen to migrants after 2 weeks after that. Okay, so basically for 7 days, if this number comes down to 1500, and after 2 weeks of that they will reopen the border. So that is basically about this news article which has happened now, because of which what is important for you is that you go through this area wherein, or you can say the area of Central America. You can go through the areas in which this donkey route is prominent. Okay, and you will see the what are the nearby water bodies which can be used for such immigrations, etc. Okay, so that is why I have taken this particular you can say article. Herein there are certain exceptions which they have cited, that if there is a minor which is crossing alone, so they will be allowed. Then human trafficking victims can be allowed, and those who has used customs and the border protection apps to schedule an appointment to request asylum, these people will be allowed. Okay, so that is about it from this particular article. Now for your own read, there is this article which is related to the, you know that this is the 5th of June and that is World Environment Day. So the theme is our land, our future, we are generation restoration. Okay, so basically you can go through this particular article that is related to basically clean energy or the green hydrogen. Okay, so you can go through this particular article. It is an editorial. Okay, so just take the information which is needed for you, that's all. Okay, now last part, that is basically your practice question. What is the primary objective of the Chang'e mission? To collect samples from the lunar surface, to study the geology of the moon, to search for signs of lunar water ice, to study the lunar atmosphere. So you can attempt this question and answer in the comment box. Okay, so with that I would like to wrap up the session. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.